everyone. Welcome to Professor Deloney's 10-minute essay. Over the next 10 minutes, I'll be sharing with you how you can successfully write your essay and think about the different parts of the essay, from choosing the right words to properly using citations.
Okay, we're going to start with a conversation about words. All right. This is a video I created to show you how to use the spelling grammar check. All right. You have access through your Microsoft Office 365 account. You can watch this video in the actual PowerPoint that I have made available to you. All right. It's about 2 minutes and will help you to run through a quick spelling grammar check tutorial to make sure you know how to use that. All right. Letters build words. So you always want to be able to use the spelling grammar check. If you have a second set of eyes that you can use and have somebody read your paper, you always want to do that. If things still look strange, then use a dictionary or Grammarly, which is a free online service, but you do want to use a spelling grammar check to check your spelling before you submit your paper. All right. So here's an example of why word choice matters. Saying that someone was nice versus someone was generous and gave to those in need is a very big difference. So you want to be very clear and very intentional about the words that you use when you are choosing words in your writing. When we think about the building blocks of language, we know that we have letters, we have words, and then those become sentences, okay? A way to bring together those sentences is through the use of conjunctions. These are some of the common conjunctions easily remembered by the acronym FANBOYS, which stands for and, nor, but, or, yet, so, okay? And when we use these in sentences, we want to make sure that we understand that we have to check for sentence fragments, okay? Fragments are sentences that are missing parts of the sentence that make it complete. All right. The part that makes it complete is the predicate. So here you see the predicate in red. All right. Sentence fragments on the left indicate words that either are missing the predicate or missing a verb or missing a subject. And I see a lot of these examples in student writing. And you want to understand that without a subject, verb, and a predicate, you have a sentence fragment, and it really makes your writing choppy and disturbs the flow of sort of communicating your ideas. All right. So there are three types of sentences. There's the complete sentence, which we know that has typically a subject, a verb, and a predicate. So here's an example. All right. Then there is a compound sentence, which is a combination of two complete sentences that's joined by a conjunction. You'll see the conjunction and here. All right. But these are two independent sentences put together with that one conjunction. The complex sentence is a combination of an incomplete sentence and a complete sentence, or it could be the other order, all right? Complete sentence and an incomplete sentence. And here are some examples of those, all right? You'll see they're separated when the incomplete phrase starts the sentence with a comma, all right? All right, so here's another example of simple and compound and complex sentences. All right, so this is a way to build detail and build ideas together using various types of sentence forms. All right, let's talk about punctuation. Punctuation is very important. All right, some basic rules for using a comma, semicolon. All right, so for example, we know we use commas when we are listing 3 or more words. Okay, as in this example, All right. We also use commas before and after a word or group of words that adds meaning to the sentence. So imagine you have a sentence, but you want to add a bit of extra information. You would set that extra information off using a comma. All right. So in both of these examples, the information in between the comma is extra, meaning if I take it out, I'll still have a complete sentence, but it adds detail to what I'm talking about. Okay, some more examples when you are using an introductory word or phrase. All right, you're going to put that information at the beginning of the sentence and you're going to set it off using a comma. All right, so the semicolon you can think of as a period and a comma together. All right, so it indicates that you have two complete ideas, but they're closely related. All right, so when you have a complete sentence, but the next sentence would probably be closely related or explain that first sentence, you can join those using a semicolon. All right, thesis statements. We talk about these a lot. We work on these a lot. Okay, very important that you are as concise and clear as possible. So here's an example of a vague thesis statement using words that I encourage you not to use, like some, which doesn't really indicate any particular detail. All right, then we have the same thesis statement explained a little bit better using more clear language. All right, and then we have a very clear and concise thesis statement. Okay, so word choice matters. It is very important that you be very selective when you're using words and how you choose words to make your ideas clear. All right, another example of a vague, detailed, and concise thesis statement. Okay, all talking about the same thing, the novel Huckleberry Finn, but the clear and concise makes it very clear what the paper is going to cover and what the reader can expect to read about and understand once they're done reading the paper. Okay, transitions and grammar fluency. All right, here's some examples of when you're going to use transition words. All right, when you're adding detail, when you are indicating time, when you are elaborating or describing your point further, when you are making a comparison, when you are making a contrast, all right, and when you are demonstrating cause and effect. The most important thing is to remember that transition words are like signposts in your writing. They tell the reader how ideas connect when you are finishing or adding an idea, and really kind of add fluency and clarity and flow to your writing. So you want to use transition words as often as possible. All right, some things to avoid. Shifting tense. I see this a lot of time. You go from the past to the present in one sentence. Okay, you want to make sure that you use the same verb tense in your writing, and that you shift when it is logical. Okay, another example. All right, you want to remain in one tense. Okay, so that the reader knows exactly when things are happening and they're not confused about the sequence of events and actually sort of what came first. Okay, you also want to try and balance the ideas that you're sharing by using similar verb, noun, and phrase structures. Okay, so to build, to craft, to develop. All right, the Mayan women planted the seeds, weeded the crops, and reaped the harvest. You'll see that these are parallel structures that follow the same pattern every time they're used throughout the sentence. All right, this is very key to keeping the ideas that you're presenting level. All right, so make sure that your subject and verbs agree. Okay, so children use many electronic gadgets, which is plural, but then the pronoun used is it, which we know is singular. All right, so you have to make sure that your subjects and your verbs agree when you are writing about them in the sentences. All right, so we're looking now at the essay outline, template, and draft. Okay, so this is to the left an outline of one paragraph. All right, and then we have the different parts of the essay, okay, for which you can use the outline on the left for each of these paragraphs. Okay, we understand that the thesis is most likely found in that first paragraph. All right, but then you want to make sure that you are using a similar organization structure for each of your paragraphs so that you are, by the end of that paragraph, you've made your point clear and you are transitioning to another paragraph, or you're concluding that idea. And then when you're in your conclusion, you want to make sure that you indicate that that is the concluding paragraph. You always want to include a conclusion in your writing, all right, to just sort of wrap up your ideas. This is a video I created with an essay template that walks you through a template that I'm currently using in my doctorate program that I've modified for a class I'm taking with Dr. Stern at North Central University. So it is already set up for APA style, Times New Roman, 12-point font, double space, margins are in place. All you have to do is go in, replace the information with your information. There's also some text in blue that explains how to use each paragraph and what information to include. So I would like for you to use this template for all of the writing assignments that we complete. All right. So lastly, plagiarism. These are some very important citation videos that will take you through how to do an APA citation for article, book, web, and in-text. Okay, you just click on these links and it'll take you directly to the video, which has some interactive questions for you. They're short 4 or 5 minute videos, not very long, but please do these before you start working on your writing assignment so that you are able to properly use a citation and you don't lose any points for not using a citation or for plagiarizing. All right. This is an example of an APA bibliography, which you want to include at the end of your paper. Okay.
Well, that's it. Thank you for tuning in. I look forward to reading your work, and I hope that you've learned something that you can take with you and that you find useful as you become a better writer.